So, in a world that's just obsessed with data, what if the most powerful tool for success isn't some complex algorithm, but something way more human? Today, we're diving into the big ideas from Ahmed Fathi's book, The Human Side of Strategy, to figure out why empathy might just be your greatest competitive advantage. And Fathi really kicks things off with this powerful idea. Behind every strategy is a heartbeat, because business starts where understanding meets humanity. This is our whole theme right here. It's about moving from just looking at numbers on a screen back to the real people they represent. I mean, just think about it. We are absolutely swimming in information. Every click, every scroll, every little pause a customer makes, it can all be tracked and analyzed. We are, as Ahmed Fathi says in his book, completely data rich. But here's the big question, the paradox that Fathi's work really makes you think about. Do we have more empathy? Has all this data actually brought us any closer to understanding the real, complicated, emotional human beings on the other side of the screen? Well, the answer seems to be a pretty clear no. And that brings us to the big solution that the book talks about, the return to humanity. Now, this isn't about throwing out data, not at all. It's about seeing empathy as that timeless advantage that makes all that data finally mean something. So what are we really talking about when we say empathy? Well, it's the ability to understand and share someone else's feelings. But in business, this isn't some fluffy, feel-good skill. No way. The way Fathi frames it, it's a measurable, hard-nosed, competitive advantage. It's the engine that drives real insight. And this slide? It just perfectly lays out that huge shift in strategy. We're moving away from the old megaphone approach, mass persuasion and one-time transactions, and we're moving towards a model built on real connection. It's the difference between shouting at people and actually listening to them. It's about replacing guesswork with genuine human insight. And look, this isn't just a nice idea. This is exactly where the market is going. A 2024 Deloitte Insights report, which is cited in the book, predicts that by 2030, empathy is going to be the defining mark of a competitive advantage. The future, it belongs to the brands that listen the best. So, how does this actually work in practice? Well, that brings us to the core engine of it all, how empathy builds trust. Because, let's be honest, in today's world, people are skeptical. Trust isn't just a nice to have, it's the absolute currency of connection. And that currency has real, tangible value. The 2024 Edelman Trust Barometer found that a massive 63% of consumers base their buying decisions on trust. Just let that sink in. For almost 2/3 of people, trust can be more important than price or even how good the product is. And this right here, this illustrates the whole process perfectly. You can think of it like the empathy to trust flywheel. It all starts with empathy, really getting what people need. That understanding lets you act with authenticity, and that authenticity over time earns trust. And what happens when you have that trust? Your customers become your biggest storytellers. It's a powerful, self-reinforcing cycle of growth. Okay, so that's the theory, but what does it look like in the real world? Let's get into some powerful examples and see how this all comes together with brands that have totally mastered the art of listening. First up, Dove. Back in the early 2000s, Dove was kind of lost in a sea of brands, all chasing this impossible, airbrushed idea of perfection. But instead of just shouting louder, they did something radical. They decided to listen. They launched the Real Beauty campaign and completely changed the conversation from aspiration to authenticity. And the results of that empathetic shift? It was incredible. Sales of Dove products shot up by over 700% in just 2 years. This is probably one of the clearest examples you'll ever see of empathy leading directly to massive growth. Next up, Patagonia. This is a brand that built its entire identity on integrity. On Black Friday in 2011, they ran a full-page ad with a headline that seemed like pure business suicide. Don't buy this jacket. It was a bold, honest move that put the planet's health ahead of a quick sale. But here's the amazing part. That campaign, which seemed to be anti-consumerist, actually grew Patagonia's revenue by over 30%. It proved, without a doubt, that when your values line up with your customers, profit will follow your purpose. And finally, let's talk about Lego. In the early 2000s, the company was actually dangerously close to going bankrupt because they'd completely lost their way. Their amazing comeback wasn't because of some new product. It was because of a new process, listening. They went back out to their community to rediscover what Lego truly meant to people. As a 2021 McKinsey report put it so perfectly, LEGO turned listening into leadership. By putting their community right at the center of their strategy, they became the world's most reputable company by 2022. They literally rebuilt their brand, brick by brick, on a foundation of empathy. So you see, these examples aren't just feel-good stories. They are the building blocks of a completely new playbook. They show us that strategy is moving away from being a rigid monologue and turning into a dynamic human dialogue. The key here is finding that perfect balance. Fatty nails it with this quote: "Without empathy, strategy is noise. Without structure, empathy is chaos." It's all about bridging the why, that human connection, with the how, the actual strategy that makes it work. So, what does this actually look like in practice? Well, this slide gives us a fantastic, actionable framework. It reimagines the classic 4 Ps of marketing through a human lens. So, a product isn't just about features, it's about the experience and the emotion it creates. Price isn't just about cost, it's about fairness and purpose. Place isn't just distribution, it's about creating a true sense of community. And promotion, it evolves from interrupting people to building real, lasting connections. Which leaves us with one last thing to think about. I want you to consider the brands you trust the most in your own life. You know, the ones you feel a real connection to. What did they do to earn that trust? I bet, more often than not, the answer has something to do with a moment where you just felt truly seen, heard, and understood.